Sports Center.
Yes, today is Briscoe and East to close out the night. Full coverage of the events in Philly coming up. Plus, the star of the game is going to join us. We're going to find out together who that is.
Yes. Now, check us out. If you were not locked in all day, here's what you may have missed as we take it right out the tunnel.
I've heard revenge is a dish best served with 8 straight wins.
Well, that would help.
Revenge for Will Lutz. Chiefs and Broncos. We got Lutz here lining up for the game-winning kick. But, oh, hold up. Wait a minute. Timeout. We've seen this before. November the 10th, 2024. Lutz's game-winning kick attempt blocked by Leo Chanel. The Broncos sideline, they're obviously devastated. This was also in a game against the Chiefs, so Andy Reid's reaction completely the opposite. The Chiefs won that one 16-14. Back to today. The 35-yarder didn't miss that one. Up and in for the win. Broncos beat the Chiefs 22-19.
How about a little coffin corner display? I mean, that's the goal of every punter. This is Ethan Evans, Seahawks-Rams game, and you leave it right where it's supposed to be in the very corner to force the team to start their drive from there. Perfect product placement. Rams would get the win 21-19.
And here's your reminder, he is an MVP for a reason. Josh Allen, Bucks and Bills. 6 total touchdowns for Josh Allen. 3 passing, 3 rushing. Second career game he has done that. No other player has done that once. And he's now done it twice. No active player.
Okay.
More on that coming up in just a little bit.
Because we've got all the big games coming up, but we do have to start with our opening drive here, Week 11. It is the Eagles taking on the Lions. 2 teams we figure to see deep in the playoffs here in 2025. First drive of the game for Detroit. Jared Goff's pass gets deflected there by Jordan Davis, picked off by Cooper DeJean. He returns it for 21 yards. Philly would take advantage. They would kick a field goal. And how about that play from Davis to put that ball in the air as Philly takes the early lead? All right, Lane Johnson heads to the locker room. He's got a foot injury. He would not return, so that was a big deal for the Eagles' offensive line. Second quarter, though, Lions are down 6-0 now. Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown. First down and a lot. 34 yards on that play. So that sets up this. Goff, Jamison Williams, and he's on the run, and he's got room to run. 40 yards, and then check out the celebration. Just pops on the goalpost like a koala bear. 15-yard penalty, though.
For that?
Yeah, because you can't use props. The goalpost is technically a prop, so they would miss the
pumping,
PAT.
maybe. I don't know.
So it's just 6-6. Here, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown for 11 yards. That would set up first and goal. The very next play, it's Saquon, and he is in for the score. At least that's what we thought, right? But after review, he would be down just short. So what do? Of course, you know what we do. We're pushing. And Jalen gets it in. Eagles are up 13-6 at the half. Third quarter now. Eagles 3rd and 1, another tush push, but there's a flag on the play. Eagles are called for a false start. But check this out.
Yeah, this was weird.
Tyleik Williams is lined up in the neutral zone, and Tyler Steen is like trying to point it out, but gets called for the false start as a result. So the Eagles would be forced to punt. On the next possession for Detroit, they are going for it on 4th and goal. They did this quite a few times in this game. That's what they do, right? But Goff, incomplete. They were 0 for 5 on 4th downs in this game. That's the second most in Dan Campbell's tenure with Detroit. Now we go to the 4th quarter. It's 3rd and 5 for the Eagles, and Jalen gets the first down. They would kick another field goal to go up double digits, 16-6. Less than 4 to go. Eagles attempting the tush push on 4th and inches, and they do not get it. So the Lions would get it back. They would kick a field goal to make it 16-9. Then the Eagles get it back, trying to run out the clock. It's 3rd down, and the Lions thought they'd forced 3 and out, but instead it's a pass interference call on Rock Yassin. Can we see this one more time? Wow, that is nitpicky. So Detroit could not get the ball back. Eagles would eventually run out the clock. Saquon got a first down. That was big. And Dan Campbell and the Lions lose it 16-9 on the road to the Eagles.
Tim Hasselbeck is here with us as always. Look, Dan Campbell is not afraid to go for it on fourth down, but what we aren't used to seeing is the fact that the Lions were 0 for every single time, 0 for 5. What happened there?
Well, I think Dan Campbell probably needed to, take the conditions into consideration, take into consideration, how his offense was playing, what the flow of the game was going to be, because, they kept putting their defense in a bad spot. And while the defense played well, there just were too many times where, the aggressiveness, cost them. Fake punt after they failed on the first one, then they went for it on 4th and 1, pressured down near the goal line. We saw that one. Brock Wright was open. And then early in the game, just, missed throws, that Jared Goff wasn't able to hit. And I think in part because of the wind, because they weren't, able to pass the ball, either team, accurately down the field. And so I think sometimes when the aggressiveness works out, you want to stick with it. But in the environment tonight, it didn't seem like it was a good idea for the Lions.
Now, for Philly, obviously, the goal is to always win, and they win again. But it's back-to-back low-scoring games for this Eagles offense. And I know we're a little far away from the playoffs, but if you're a fan of this team, you're like, when are we going to get a more efficient offense to give us a better chance to win every game? What concern do you have with that Philly offense?
Yeah. Well, if you're a fan or a receiver, Michael, maybe, depending.
Okay.
I think they're both having similar complaints right now. Look, I think, they're a run-first team, and they have not been running the ball, that well. They had some injuries. Lane Johnson, obviously, came out of the game tonight, and so that will have an impact on it. I do think the conditions tonight impacted the passing game. I think going against a really good defense impacted the way, the offense was able to play. But I do think this. They've been a little bit hesitant to run Jalen Hurts in the regular season. And I think that's a good plan. You don't need him to take a ton of hits if you're able to win games without running him. I would think that when you get into the postseason, we're going to see, a lot more design runs for Jalen Hurts, because it gives you a number advantage, in the run game. It makes Saquon harder to defend when you've got to deal with Hurts coming out the other side. And it also helps your passing game. So I'm not overly concerned right now, because I do think there are things that they will do when it matters more later in the season.
Kind of the concept of taking unnecessary risk. All right, stand by. Let's get to another great game that we had between the Chiefs and the Broncos. Patrick Mahomes and company taking on the Broncos, who, by the way, have won 7 straight games. Opening drive for the Chiefs in the third quarter, tied at 6. Mahomes scrambling. That man does not play for your team. Nope, nuh-uh. That is Jaquan McMillan. McMillan then breaks a couple of tackles and gets brought down along the sidelines, but not until he's made it 63 yards down the field. Mahomes is frustrated. The Broncos, however, did get called for an unsportsmanlike conduct on Sean Payton because he got in the way of the referee. So when the Broncos took over, they were at their own 25 after the penalty. Here we go with that. 3rd and 8 for the Broncos. Bo Nix has all the time in the world. Finds Troy Franklin. That is a 35-yard completion. And we move in. 2nd and goal now for the Broncos at the 4. Jaleel McLaughlin up the middle. Keep pushing. Everyone in for a score. Broncos take the 13-6 lead. Next Chiefs drive. 3rd and 7. Mahomes, deep ball, is going to get caught by Tyquan Thornton. It's a gain of 61. It leads to this. On a 3rd and 1 for the Chiefs at the 2. Just give it to Kareem Hunt. Hunt runs left, gets stopped initially, but boop, boop, boop. Over the line we go. He's tied at 13. 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter. 3rd, and long live this connection. It is Mahomes to Travis Kelce. Kelce breaks a tackle. 21 yards later, that is a score. That is also his 84th career touchdown, which breaks a tie with Priest Holmes for the most in Chiefs history. Now, the Broncos block the extra point, so the Chiefs only take a 19-16 lead. And yes, it would matter. 4 minutes left in the 4th. We're now tied at 19. Mahomes on a 3rd and 10. What you can't do is that. He got sacked by McMillan. The Chiefs are forced to punt, and the ball is in Bo Nix' hands. 2nd and 8 for the Broncos at the Chiefs' 47. Nix deep to Franklin, making the 32-yard catch. That puts the Broncos in field goal range, and with 3 seconds left on the clock, they bring out Will Lutz. He's 35 yards away. 35 yards and in for the win. Broncos pick up their 8th straight win, 22-19. This one over the Chiefs.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And you know, if you're, some say if you're scared, go to church. But I think it's good to, if you're going to play this sport, if you're going to play this game for too long, you can't really be intimidated, or there's really no sense in going out there.
Obviously, it's going to be tough to get back in the division race, but at the end of the day, all the goal is to get into the playoffs and try to make a run at it. And all you can focus on is next week. We got to learn from this one as much as possible, knowing that we're going to get a great opponent coming into Arrowhead this next week. And we're kind of at that point where we got to find a way to win football games, and got to keep moving forward. That's what this league's all about.
So it is a lock for the Chiefs, but they sacked Patrick Mahomes 3 times. They picked him off once. How was that Broncos defense so effective?
You know, they changed up what they did. It's 3rd and 15 early in the football game. They don't bring pressure. You know, when you play Andy Reid and you play Patrick Mahomes, you can't be predictable. Then they rally to the football. That's early in the football game, basically playing soft, playing coverage. Later in the football game, 3rd and 10, nope, now we're coming after you. It's a zone pressure. Double A gap look. They're going to drop a defender out. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have a blitz answer. Stuck holding the football, goes down, because he's sacked. And so I think that Vance Joseph has done a good job. Really talented on defense. They can rush the passer, but did a great job of switching up their looks, which I think gave that Chiefs offense a little bit of trouble.
You know, Tim, for the Chiefs, they're 0-5 this season in one-score games. Last year, that was their specialty, right? Yeah. But they're now 5-5. We just heard from Mahomes saying they know they can't win the division now. They're just trying to get into the playoffs. What's the likelihood they can actually get into the playoffs, considering how they've played as of late?
Yeah, I think there's concern. You know, I do think that you look at early season struggles, they were missing some of their wide receivers. They have them back now. And so I think, for them to win 4 more games, is that doable? I think that it is when you see their schedule. And so, look, I think they're a playoff team. Now, the difference is the Chiefs don't want to just be a playoff team. They want to be a Super Bowl championship team. And so your path as a 9-win team, not winning your division, looks a heck of a lot different than what Kansas City's been used to throughout the postseason.
Now, here's the deal. If they get there, history says they're capable of winning everywhere. But this season would give some other teams pause to say, no, I think we can get them this year. Let's see what happens. All right, how about this game, though? The Rams taking on the Seahawks. LA with a chance to take over sole possession of the division lead. Pretty good matchup of quarterbacks in terms of how they played this year. Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford. Early in the game, Seahawks facing a 1st and 10. Darnold looking for the former Ram Cooper Kupp, picked off by Cameron Kinchins, and he returns that one all the way to the 3-yard line. A Kyron Williams touchdown a little bit later would give the Rams a 7-0 lead. All right, we're still in the first quarter. LA's up 7-3 now. Williams, if you want some, come and get it. 34 yards down to the 1-yard line. And so what would happen a couple plays later? Well, Stafford, little short pass to Devontae Adams for the score. And this was significant. Catch number 1,000 for Adams in his career. His 10th touchdown of the season. He's one of 3 active players with 1,000 receptions. Travis Kelce, Keenan Allen, the other, and Allen just did it last week. We go to the second quarter now. Seahawks down 14-6. Darnold to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Oh, Jackson, let's see how funky we can get with the one-hand stab. Stays in bounds. Seahawks would settle for a field goal. It's 14-9. It's 14-12 here in the third. Darnold to Elijah Arroyo. No. Intercepted again by Kitchens. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Darnold had 4 picks in this game. Second career 2-interception game for Kitchens. Let's go to the fourth quarter now. It's 1st and goal from the 6. Stafford to Kobe Parkinson. He would break a tackle right there and get into the end zone. Stafford 15 for 28, a season low 137 yards, but he did have those 2 scores to extend the lead to 21-12. Less than 3 to go. Seahawks, though, still with time. Kenneth Walker to third. He's in there. That cuts the lead to 2, 21-19. And after Seattle forces a 3-and-out, the Rams are punting on 4th and 10. And Ethan Evans, the perfect punt, right in the coffin corner. 50 yards. They start the drive from the 1-yard line. Do the Seahawks. So it's 5 seconds to go. They're near midfield. Darnold to Rashid Shaheed. Hold up, wait a second, because that's all we have left. Set it up, Jason Myers from 61 yards out to win it, but it is wide right. LA, they take over top position in the NFC West thanks to 5 straight wins. They win at 21-19. Let's go to that locker room.
How about that? Never take for granted finding a way. Just being able to be so resilient defensively. What a blessing offensively for us to be able to learn from this and continue to grow. But man, this group finding different ways to be able to win. Can't say enough about it. Cam Kitchens, get one, baby.
Sam's been balling. Like, if we want to try to define Sam by this game or what, man, Sam's had us in every game. So for him to sit there and say, oh, that's my fault. No, it's not. It was plays that defensively we could have made plays. There were opportunities where we could have got better stops. Yeah, I mean, like, it's football, man. And he's our quarterback. We got his back. And you got anything to say, quite frankly, you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, this is not the Sam Darnold we've seen pretty much all season, Tim. What led to these 4 picks?
Yeah, I thought he was impatient. This is early in the football game. It's 1st and 10. He gets moved off the spot. Rather than just escaping, throwing it away, taking a sack, whatever it is, fading away, throwing off your back foot, ball's picked off. Then it's 1st and 20, another early down. He's trying to hit Arroyo on the seam, but the safety's not wide. Underneath coverage is running with him. Hit the inbreaker to your left to throw the check down. Again, it's 1st and 20, instead throwing it into traffic. And then 3rd and 3 late in the football game. Still plenty of time. I know it's a 2-score game. Rather than pushing the ball down the field, you have an escort blocker, throw the swing to Kenneth Walker. Instead, you know, he's hit as he's trying to push the ball down the field, incomplete pass. And so I just think there are times that he was too greedy in this football game. And, you know, it's interesting. It's a defense that he's struggled against in the past. And so I would have thought that he would have kind of tried to stay within, the confines of the offense a little bit more.
I get that. You see chocolate, you want more chocolate. It's the same concept. Tim, don't go too far because we're going to take a sneak peek inside your quarterback room. I have a feeling Josh Allen is in there. Plus, you're going to get continuing coverage from Sunday Night Football as well.
Also, we've got some issues between Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey. Wait, do we have more bodily fluid pointed in someone's direction? Also, an injury to Dylan Gabriel led to the unexpected debut of Shedeur Sanders. Could he pull off the late game upset of the Ravens, though?